Hello all, this is James Johnson, aka Sulphur Blade, and I am here with another pop culture-esque video in which we're going to talk about the behemoth of Walt Disney, the overachieving film of Captain Marvel, and the vocal community on YouTube. Now there's a lot to dissect here, and we're also going to talk about Access Media. And this will all be in regards to a growing problem. And that growing problem is the entertainment industry, Hollywood, and various studios that comprise the large extent of our entertainment, becoming inundated and infested with political messaging and or agendas in regards to X. And that X could be inserted with feminism or social justice warfare or any insert group cause that the left wants to promote. And why is that? Why is that the entertainment industry has become so inundated from the left? I think, well, I don't want to say I think. I'm pretty sure I know why that is, and that's because the majority of college professors that teach things that are related to a degree that would involve the entertainment industry on a whole, which tends to be classes that everyone dreads, all the normal people dread, right? We refer to them as elective studies. Like, for example, I had to go to an elective class in when I got my college degree for basically criticizing films. I thought it was a fairly useless class. I didn't care about lighting and this and that, but it was an interesting class in that, what other class do you sit around watching movies and eating popcorn? So from that outlook on it, it was a fairly, easy class. And since I was being paid, since I was on a GI Bill, I was getting paid to go to school. So what kind of class is better than that than sitting around getting paid to watch movies? That's what that elective represented to me was that. But anyway, so you have generations of people in this industry who have been taught by generations of left-leaning professors, and thus you have a culture in the entertainment industry that is made up of left-leaning individuals. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody. But that's just the way the entertainment industry is. And that's fine when the entertainment industry is doing what the entertainment industry is supposed to do. And that is to provide us with entertainment. It's not uncommon for those with that type of mindset. I mean, artists, for example, are oftentimes left-leaning. This is not an unusual trend in the world. This has been this way for a long time. People that look at the world in certain ways also have political beliefs that tend to not be the same as people who look at the world in a different way. So those people who might be more right-leaning, like myself, for instance, um, I don't see the world in the same uh, coloration as someone who might be artistic does. I don't see the world in the same manner that somebody who might love music does, you know. And that's not to say that I dislike music. I love music. I love to listen to music, but I wouldn't want to become a musician. I love to watch movies, but I wouldn't want to become a producer. Um, I love to look at art. Well, that's not really true, but sometimes. I mean, I can appreciate nice art, uh, but that doesn't mean I want to become an artist. So with that being said, we we can understand the basic breakdown of why there is this division in the world between the left and the right, the natural forms of politics that cause different people to look at the world in different ways. The problem is when did it become so hostile? When has it become so volatile to be on the different sides? When has it become impossible to have a conversation about topics from the other side? When, well, these are all facetious questions. We know that the answer has been within the past relative few years, society has been becoming more and more and more entrenched in their own battle lines, their own tribal beliefs, their own groups. And it's like the world currently is in the middle of a giant cultural war. And one of these battlegrounds obviously is the entertainment industry, and that's mainly what this video is supposed to be about. In this regards, we're looking at YouTube. And we're looking at YouTube, who is attempting to speak up for the normal people. YouTube is attempting to convey what normal people feel about things inside of the entertainment industry. Movies, music, video games, anything that can have some type of review, YouTube does it. And, you know, to be honest, YouTube does it really well. In fact, it does it far better than quote unquote Access Media. So you may have heard of the term Access Media. It's been used a lot these days, especially if you're a person that travels around on the internet consuming the content on the internet. You will hear various channels like Gary at Nerdrotic. He talks about the Access Media all the time. But do you understand what that term is? What is the Access Media? Well, the Access Media is basically those who get access in order to be media. So who are those people? Who gets to go interview the White House press secretary? Who gets invited to the viewings of the latest movie premiere before everybody else? These are people who are supposed to be news. They're supposed to be reporting the story from all sides. They're not supposed to be taking a side. They're not supposed to be looking at the story from only one perspective. news is supposed to be something that is delivered to the masses in an objective way so that the masses can make a decision. Masses can't make a decision if they don't get all the facts. And if the news is not giving all the facts, it's only giving half of the facts from one point of view, then the news isn't being objective. That's the problem these days, is that access media has stopped being objective. And so the normal people who want an honest review, they've stopped going to access media to find to find the answer to their question. Like, for example, was Captain Marvel a good movie? Well, according to Access Media, it was a great movie. According to individuals on the internet, people like Gary at Nerdrotic, or All Hail Lord Doomcock over at Overlord DVD, or I Support Anna, that Star Wars girl, they see things from a different shade of gray. They see things from a different perspective. Now, maybe their perspective isn't objective either. Maybe they're coming at it from the other side. Well, that's all right, because they're not Access Media, they're YouTubers. But why the double standard for YouTubers? Well, YouTubers are not supposed to be, well, these YouTubers aren't claiming to be media. They're claiming to be a channel that provides entertainment and or information to their subscriber base. And so you will often find that the YouTube universe tailors things to those that listen to them. That doesn't mean that they're lying. In fact, all of these people speak very truthfully from their point of view. They have their own unique point of view, as everyone does in the world, and everyone has a right for their own unique points of view. It's one of the great things about the internet is you can go out and you can find so many unique points of view about the same topic. But sadly, Access Media can't seem to do that anymore. They can't seem to be objective about things. Fox News is known to be right-leaning. CNN is known to be left-leaning. I mean, when the two most powerful, quote-unquote, news agencies are known to be biased, where's the quality of news gone? When the president has, quote-unquote, made the word fake news a household name because there's a lot of truth to it, then we have a problem in society. I think there's several ways to fix it. I think, for one, news agencies, they need to take an inward look at themselves and start being objective again. Will that happen? Probably not. Why won't that happen? Because big corporations fund them. Big corporations own them. Big corporations need to continue to make money, And it's easier to make money when a certain point of view is pushed that supports that corporation's financial interests. So now we're talking about one of the largest corporations, Walt Disney. Walt Disney recently acquired Fox. So now Walt Disney is going to be the owner of two major television networks, Fox and I'm pretty sure ABC. So how does that work? Is Fox going to continue to be pro the right in its news reporting, and ABC is going to continue to be, well, whatever leaning ABC is? I don't even know. I rarely ever watch ABC, to be honest. I wouldn't know what ABC leans as far as their news. But if ABC does lean to, like, say, perhaps the left, then what's going to happen to Fox News? Is Fox News going to continue to be the bastion of the right? It's doubtful. If their corporate masters are champions of the left, is Fox going to remain that way? I don't know. I highly doubt it. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with Fox News going forward. Is their reporting going to start changing its tune in the political theater? I don't know. But, it's worth a watch to see what happens. But no, this video is supposed to be Walt Disney in regards to the entertainment industry. This video is supposed to be about Walt Disney and Captain Marvel, and kind of the backlash that Captain Marvel has created. So Captain Marvel has been a battleground. It's been a battleground between Axis Media, and it's been a battleground between YouTube. Axis Media doesn't like YouTube because YouTube makes Axis Media look bad. When Axis Media goes to a Captain Marvel film that they've been invited to go to early because Walt Disney has, handpicked those members of the Axis Media crowd to attend their film, and they fully expect, since they scratched those reporters' backs, that those reporters will then scratch their back and say that their film is pretty good, not bad, great. They're not going to be as harsh to the film as they would have been if they didn't get an early invite. And those that don't get early invites that are part of Axis Media might still not be as harsh to the film as they would be because they hope to get an early invite to the next film. Sadly, when that type of mentality permeates the movie review industry, well, the movie review industry is not worth a shit. And so it's obvious that people are going to turn to YouTubers. And by and large, YouTubers give far better, more honest reviews. But their reviews tend to come from their point of view. But you know what? Points of view in regard to if a movie is good shouldn't have anything to do with politics. And that's where things are getting really wrong. So Captain Marvel is the latest in movies pushing a political agenda. In this case, feminism. And for the lack of me, I don't understand why there's movies in 2019 pushing a feminism theme. It's like the left didn't realize they've won that battle, and it's been done and over for like 20 years now. Geraldine Ferraro ran for vice president of the United States when I was a kid. We've had females all throughout politics. Females have the ability to do whatever they want in society right now. In fact, they have more opportunities to do what they want in society right now than men do. So I don't understand why we're still harping this feminist agenda when women have gotten everything that they ever deserved already and then some. It's confusing. It baffles the imagination, and you have to scratch your head. So when a political agenda is put into a movie in 2019 for a political agenda that has no point to even exist anymore, you wonder why it pisses people off? Because we're sick of hearing about it. We're sick of the feminism shit. And that's what it is. It's shit. Women have had their cake and they can eat it too for the last 15 frickin' years. But I digress. I don't understand. But we keep having this situation clubbed over our head. You know, we look back at The Last Jedi and we saw our heroes destroyed. If anyone ever has a chance, that Star Wars girl, this YouTube channel right up here that I have displayed, she has an amazing review of The Last Jedi. I could not review The Last Jedi as eloquently and as passionately and as perfectly as she did. I sat there and I watched her video about The Last Jedi, and it basically, all I had to do was say +1. That's exactly how I feel. It did. It brought a tear to my eye. It was a powerful video that it meant a lot to me. So why is it that meant a lot to me? Why is it that my childhood heroes being destroyed before my eyes on the big screen could make me upset? And that's a completely rhetorical question if you didn't figure that out. Of course, the destruction of my childhood heroes is going to make me upset. And I don't understand how LucasArts thought that was a good idea, also that they could promote the female gender as the new demographic they wanted to cater their movies to. Doesn't compute. Men are a larger demographic for science fiction. They always have been. They always will be. It's just one of those natural things about men like men things and women like women things. I mean, if you were to sell yarn, you would not create an advertising campaign targeting men. You would create an advertising campaign targeting women. I mean, if you did start an advertising campaign targeting men that knitting is for men, well, that would be pretty silly. I don't think it would be a good investment of your time, money, and resources. But you could try. Well, with that being said, that's exactly what's been happening in the entertainment industry. Is we've been targeting a demographic that, well, it doesn't make them money. And now somebody's going to point out, and somebody's going to point out quite accurately, that, well, wait, you're not totally accurate there, because the majority of moviegoers are female. by like 9%. 59% of most moviegoers in current day and age, compared to 41% men to 59% women, are moviegoers. But there's a very broad spectrum of movies that make up that percentage. So, yeah, there's that. Basically, what I'm trying to say in a not so eloquent way is we have problems right now in society. We have problems that media can't be honest. They can't report things objectively. Um, we have to turn to YouTubers to get our most honest reviews. And then YouTubers are not, they're not, they're not required to be objective from that type of point of view. Most YouTubers, when they cover whether or not a movie is good, they do it based off of their gut instinct or how they feel about the movie or if they liked the movie. And that's exactly the way it should be done. So if Nerdrotic disliked Captain Marvel, well, he disliked Captain Marvel. He is welcome to have that opinion, just as Lord Doomcock is welcome to dislike Captain Marvel, and that Star Wars girl is welcome to dislike Captain Marvel, and I am welcome to dislike Captain Marvel. Because we all happen to share a same hobby or profession, and that being YouTubing, that doesn't make our voice any less important to be heard. When sites like Rotten Tomato decide to erase 50,000 votes that were negative for a movie because it didn't fit their agenda, that is nothing but censorship. When Axis Media reports about Rotten Tomato, we hear about how the trolls were shut down, how the trolling was stopped. But what trolls? Nerdrotic is not a troll. That Star Wars girl is not a troll. Lord Doomcock is not a troll. There's so many other great YouTubers out there that have been talking about this topic. Popcast, they're not trolls. Geeks and Gamers, they're not trolls. Midnight Edge, they're not trolls. Lots of these people do a very good job of bringing you information about stuff. Is it always is it typically shaded from their own point of view? Most certainly it is. And anyone that watches these channels can figure that out. You watch Nerdrotic for long enough, you know how he feels about certain things. If you don't like what Nerdrotic has to say, you're welcome to go find another YouTuber. It's not like there's only YouTubers reporting things from one side. There are plenty of channels that see things differently than these examples I'm showing here on the screen. YouTubers don't always agree. In fact, YouTubers rarely ever agree about anything. But I will tell you what, YouTubers are honest. And that's the important thing. Is the media honest? I don't know. No, actually I do know. The media is not honest. The media is going to tell the story that their corporate masters want them to tell. It's been a long time since we've had integrity and honesty in media. And there's very few media sources left that are honest and non-biased. And sadly, those places that might still be like that, they don't have a big enough voice. Because A, they're not on TV. If there is a place like that, it's probably a newspaper. It's probably a newspaper on print. And you know, they're a dying breed. But I commend them if they are still giving good, honest, non-biased news to their clientele that's purchasing the newspapers for them, from them to read. Why am I making this video? Because we in the YouTube land, we get plenty of backlash for our opinions about things. And you know what? That's okay. Because at the end of the day, nobody agrees on anything. A lot of people might agree on some things, some of the time. And if you want to spout your disagreement with me in my channels and leave comments, I'm not going to censor you. I'm not going to shut it down. You can call me every name in the book if you want. But that's your right. It's your right to disagree. If you disagree, it's likely that you share a political agenda that leans more to the left than my political agenda that tends to lean towards the right. And that's more than likely why you are disagreeing. Now ask yourself, would you want me to censor you? Would you want me to shut down your message? Probably not. You would probably like everyone to read the comments where you point out that I'm a misogynist prick or a bastard or whatever. Well, why is it okay for the left to censor opinions on the right? Why am I willing to leave these comments up, but the left is not willing to leave comments up? Have you asked yourself that? Have you thought about that? Well, I will tell you why. Because most of you in the left actually understand, if you're fanatically so, that you are a minority group. You are a minority group that has far too much influence in the world. And the reason you have far too much influence in the world is because of Western colleges. It's because of the infiltration of the electives with left-leaning professors. There are a lot of well-educated people on the left. They can write coherent sentences. They sound smart. And they seem sane. Like, well, let's point out an easy example. How about Bill Maher, right? Everybody likes to watch Bill Maher on HBO. Heck, I'm on the right, and I enjoy watching him. Even if I don't agree with him, I'll still watch him. I get a good kick out of watching him. And I think he would agree with me in the point I'm trying to make here, in that you can't shut down the Discord. Even if you disagree with the Discord, you can't shut it down. So that's something about Bill that I respect. I don't think he would ever go about trying to censor the right. In fact, he invites some of the most right-leaning individuals on his show to have conversations. And he has intelligent conversations with these people. That is what society needs. Because you know what? The left isn't always wrong about things. I know that might come as a shock to some of you sitting at home, but the left sometimes has some good points. They just don't always do. But sometimes there is some logic in the things that they say. So here's a funny walk down memory lane. I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, if there was censorship and somebody was complaining about censorship, that person would have been left-leaning, not right-leaning. Oh, how the world changes. So, here we are in the new politically correct world. And I say that with a certain amount of sarcasm. I don't know how we've gotten to this point where the right and the left can't have a conversation. I don't know where we've gotten to the point where the vocal champions of freedom of speech, which has for generations been the left, has somehow all of a sudden turned into the right, and now the left is wanting to censor people's people and their opinion. Is it because the internet has become such an easy place to share opinion? Is it because the internet has popular opinion, and popular opinion is starting to look more and more right every day? Is it because of people like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro that have become such widespread internet stars that have garnered such a huge flock of followers? I don't know. I don't know why the left has decided to go down the censorship road that it's traveling on. And I don't know why the left and the right can't have a conversation anymore. What happened to the middle? And that's a facetious question. I know what happened to the middle. And I'll tell you all what happened to the middle. I've said this before in a previous video I did, where I talked about tribalism and the Cultural War. And we're going to talk about that one more time. We all belong to a tribe. Whether we want to belong to that tribe or not, we are. I'm a white man. I'm part of the white man tribe. I am of European descent, so I'm, European descent, white male tribe. I grew up Protestant. So, whoa, hey, I'm a wasp. So there's a tribe, right? Um, I now identify with a new internet fad. Well, not fad, but a logical transition in our cultural world known as MGTOW, men going their own way. I identify with that tribe. I used to consider myself moderate. In fact, at some points in history, I voted for Democrats. Shocker. Uh, but now, I'm strongly entrenched in the right. When I used to be a moderate, who was only barely on the right side of the spectrum. If you could have called the spectrum a 0 to 100, I would have put myself somewhere around 52 to the Republican side, just barely on the Republican side. Now, I see myself as like 70% that way. And how did that happen? Well, I didn't ask for it. I got pushed here. Every time you throw an attack against a tribe, like, for instance, this video in some ways attacks the left. Somebody who identifies with the left is going to take a defensive stance. And they're going to feel more entrenched in their tribe. That's where we all are. Every time I see a movie like Captain Marvel, where I get hit over the head with a feminism message, you knock me a little more right. Because I'm sick of that message. The Last Jedi knocked me more right. The other day I watched an episode of the frick was it? FBI. Show I don't even really like that much. It's just kind of a filler show, something to watch when nothing else was available. You know, it was okay enough to watch in that situation. But yeah, within like 20 minutes of it, it went completely batshit feminism crazy, where I just had to turn it off. I couldn't take it anymore. It was just slam my head against a desk. Why is this message everywhere I turn? Why do I have to see this message everywhere I look? And so when I talk about this message and why I hate this message, I then get accused of being a misogynist. I get accused of being an angry white man who doesn't like females. That's just crazy talking. I loved Princess Leia. Well, until she became Mary Poppins and jumped out a airlock door in space. That I didn't like because it was a huge plot hole and it didn't make much sense. But, you know, the original trilogy, Princess Leia was, hell, I dreamt about her as a young man growing up. She was one of my female idols, if you will. I watched Wonder Woman not long ago. I thought she was amazing. I could not think of a more powerful female character I would want my daughter to see and grow up idolizing, like the way I may have idolized Luke Skywalker. So there's certain characters in the movie industry that become inspirations to kids, that become inspirations to impressionable young teenagers or the like, and they look to those characters in many ways, and they identify with them. what does Captain Marvel, what kind of an inspiration does she set for a young woman growing up? What trials and tribulations did Captain Marvel have to overcome in her movie to make her worthy of being a superhero? She didn't. If you look at almost any other character in the MCU, they have something wrong. They have a weakness, a flaw, and something that's been explored on the screen. It's part of the reason that we love them. Captain Marvel doesn't have that. So again, I ask, how is Captain Marvel a role model to the young, to the young female audience that you want watching her? You're trying to empower this new generation of young women. How does Captain Marvel do that? I don't know. I don't see it. And I'm being very serious here. How does Brie Larson do it? Heck, in one of these videos up here that Anna, the Star Wars girl, did, she rants about Brie's behavior on the Jimmy Kimmel show, where Jimmy's like, well, you know, why didn't you wear the costume today? Why didn't you come in as Captain Marvel? And she was like, what? You wear the costume. You know, she was appalled that Jimmy would ask her to wear the costume. I mean, Anna, she got fired up over that, and rightfully so. She should get fired up over that. If Brie Larson wants to turn Captain Marvel into a political message that is about empowering women, but then can't even put on her damn jumpsuit in order to empower these possible young women that might be looking up to her, what kind of a role model is she really? I don't know. I don't think she's much of a role model at all. I don't know why that is. So, it's always been a problem that I've had with the left, is they love to cast stones, and they love to call out the problems of the right, and they love to point their fingers and say, you have to do this, and you have to do that, and you have to play by this rule, and you have to play by that rule, and you can't say that, and you can't say that because that's just not right. But then they don't frickin' play by their own rules. They're typically above their own rules. I don't understand it. And I'm more right today than I ever was. And I know why I'm more right today than I ever was. It's because of feminism. Every time I see it, every time it hits me over the head on a TV show, every time it hits me over the head in a movie, I just get pushed further and further and further right. I used to be a moderate. I used to be right in the middle. I used to be that person that mattered. My vote mattered to determine who would win an election. If it was a close election between the right and the left, well, you know those Democrats wanted my vote. You know the left wanted my vote. Well, your feminism message, it's not doing you any good, you fanatics over there on the left. You're only pushing moderates further and further right. You're not inspiring anyone. You're not gaining yourself any more influence in the world. You're losing your influence. That's the funniest thing about all of this. And that's the funniest thing about why the left is now the party or the group or the side that wants to shut down the conversation. They're the group that wants to censor the conversation. Because they're quickly finding out that they're the minority. And it scares them. Anyway, this has been my video. I know it's been very politically charged. I know it's been quite a ramble. Before I close this video, I want to close with a few things. And that's basically some shout-outs. I want to say that I love the content over at Nerdrotic. Gary, you do a great job. I love watching you. All hail Lord Doomcock. You're the best, man. And Anna, I support Anna. Hashtag I support Anna is going to be in this video. Share that hashtag. Send it around. She needs all of our support because she's gotten a lot of hate from the left regarding Captain Marvel. And we need to stand together and stand strong with her. She is an amazing YouTuber. Her videos are very inspiring. I wish her all of the best. So I stand with Anna, that Star Wars girl. I recently subscribed to her, and I'm so glad to have heard and found out and discovered her on the internet. Anyway, that was the point of this video. Hopefully you leave a like, subscribe, and until next time all, peace.